Rebels, head coach Jon Scheyer, and his three student athletes with us tonight are Jeremy Roach, Tyrese Proctor, and Kyle Filipowski. We will take an opening question for Coach and then move to our student athletes. Who has first question for Coach Scheyer? Okay, Coach, on your left here on the aisle.
Coach, I just have to ask you, John Butner, 24/7 Marquette. Just have to ask you how the ACC continues to prepare teams to win games like this. I mean, the talk's has been down for a couple years, and here you are again. 3 of 8 teams. You're part of ACC history, but what can you say about the league coming out of with three of 8 here?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's. I think the ACC prepares you with the amount of different opponents you see. Like, that's a big thing. But I just want to start off, first of all, I'm really proud of these guys. I'm proud of the game tonight. Like, that was a big-time college basketball game. And the respect that we have for Houston, for Coach Sampson, their players is at the highest level. And you hate to see a guy, shed. You hate to see that happen during the game. But look, they just came off a game. They won a game without four of their starters fouled out. Like, their culture, their toughness, I think showed throughout the whole game. And so for us to respond to not getting off to the best start, probably, but to respond to that was a big deal. So you asked me about 3 of the 8 teams, or Clemson, NC State. I'm not surprised. We've had battles against those guys the whole year, and hopefully this is reflected with moving forward besides just the analytics and all that stuff. But, again, for me, I'm just focused with our team and the win tonight and getting ready for Sunday.
All right, well, now let's move to questions for our 3 student athletes. We'll come back with Coach in just a few minutes. Who has a question for Coach? Okay, here on left side, and then we will go to the right.
Brett Friedlander, SaturdayRoad.com. This is for Kyle specifically, but if the other 2 players want to talk about it, they can. Last year, after the Tennessee game, a lot was made of this team's toughness, or maybe lack of toughness. How much does tonight show the growth of this group, and how tough was this game?
Yeah, I mean, just going back to last year real quick in the second round against Tennessee, that was, this game right here was kind of that same type of game. Just a great, gritty team and their culture, and I mean, just seeing the togetherness, how we didn't quit out there tonight. That really does show the growth from last year. I mean, we remember how upset we were from last year, and we didn't want to repeat that again. We know we got a great team. We've been through so much this year, and I mean, that's it. We just stuck together, and that was the most important thing.
Tyrese, you want to respond?
Yeah, sort of similar to what Flip said. We all came back to be in this position, and it's crazy because we were in the exact same situation as last year, and I thought, like Flip said, just our togetherness and how we competed by getting knocked back at the start, and then just sticking together and just coming out with the win.
Jeremy.
They basically all said it all. Last year, Tennessee game was pretty much, it was very unacceptable. I mean, obviously, Coach, he would remind us in practice throughout the whole season about that. But this game, we just kind of took it to heart and didn't want that to happen again. So,
can I just say with that, by the way, like, you don't have to apologize for losing in the tournament. Every team loses except one. And for these guys, we started 4 freshmen last year. And this year, like, these guys, Jeremy obviously has been through it. This is only their second time. And so I think for us, some of the criticism about toughness or whatever, like, try being at Duke as a freshman and sophomore and battling your ass off in the tournament, and then talk to me about being tough. So for me, like, these guys have shown every step of the way how tough they are mentally, physically. I know it's not my question. I know it's for these guys, but I just have to say that because they've repeatedly shown me what they're made of in the 2 years I've been the head coach, and obviously for Jeremy before that.
Okay, here on the extreme right.
Tyler Baptiste from The Athletic. This is for Tyrese. How much pride do you take in your defense, not just overall, but at the end of kind of a slugfest, rock fight type game like that one was?
Yeah, I mean, I take a lot of pride in my defense. I think I set the tone last year, and I thought I started off the season not at the same level I was last year, and obviously watched a lot of film and just got back to work. But I mean, it's all about preparation and how we are in practice, how I am mentally in practice, and just taking pride when the game's on the line. The game's going to be won on defense, and all the 50-50 balls we came up with towards the end of the game really helped us. And I mean, that's all it really is. It's just pride, like you said.
Let's move to the left side here in the middle.
Sydney Staples, D210 Sports. This question is for Jeremy. What do you think gave your team the edge tonight over Houston?
Just that fight. I told the team if we just come out and compete and play hard, I mean, everything will take care of itself. I've been saying that pretty much all tournament.
Just looking at you.
Been saying that all tournament. And, I mean, I think we have the best talent in the country, but if we play hard and compete, I mean, I think we can compete with anybody. Yeah.
Okay, on the front, on the right.
Kyle, this is for you. Can you, down here, talk about Matt Giles, Blue Devil Country? Can you talk about the lift that Ryan Young gave you off the bench? It seemed like at a crucial time where he came in and just played with so much grit and passion that really gave you all a lift.
Yeah, I mean, geez, we wouldn't have won that game without Ryan. I mean, we wouldn't have won that game without anyone. We all got those roles on this team, and we execute them so well. But I mean, Ryan came in, he was ready. He knows what to do. He knows his job so well, and it's so good for us. I mean, you can see on the stat sheet, he didn't even he took 2 shots, but he had plus 18, and the rest of us were he did yeah. But I mean, just that lift from Ryan coming off the bench, it's huge. And I mean, there's been so much talk about him and not doing enough for us this year, and how much he can really do. But I mean, Ryan's been through this longer than any of us, and I mean, he comes through when it matters the most. So just shout out to him.
Closing questions for the student athletes. I think we have one here on the left, toward the front.
This one's for Coach Scheyer, Ranjan Jindal.
Can we come back on him and finish up with the student athletes? Okay, I think you have one here on the aisle.
Any of you guys, how much did this game change when Jamal Shed left because of his ankle?
Jeremy?
I mean, obviously he's a great player. He's their heart and soul of the team, but I mean, it didn't really. I mean, obviously it changed a little bit, but our mindset didn't change at all. I mean, we came in to get a win, and get to the Elite Eight, and obviously he's a big part of their team. But like Coach said, they won their last game without him, so without 4 of their starters. So I mean, the mindset really didn't change.
I agree with Jeremy.
Okay, that completes our questioning, our time frame for our student athletes. We'll let you guys go back to the locker room. I know there's some one-on-one questions there from other media. Thank you for being here. Congratulations on the victory tonight, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon for another press conference. Let's go to questions now for Coach Scheyer to finish up. And I think, Coach, we have in the back by the curtain.
John David Teal with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. You call a timeout with about 5 minutes to go, I think, and got Flip a shot right there in the lane that he made. Is that what you drew up and what you wanted in that spot?
It was there. It's just they make it so hard on you. Both ends, but I mean on defense, we're just generating shots, generating good looks downhill. And, Flip and Jeremy especially, but they were able to get downhill and get in the paint. And so Flip, I thought he had a strong drive, and, they executed. And you have to do that in a game where you only score, 54 points. And I don't know how many points we had at the time, but that was a huge play. Just we couldn't quite get separation. And that finish was big time.
Okay, let's go on the left.
Hey, Coach, Ranjan Jindal, Duke Chronicle. Could you just talk about your message to your team after that first timeout you took and how they really responded and battled back and, settled in on the offensive end?
It's funny. It was like deja vu 2 years ago when we played Texas Tech. It was like we just came out, and I wish I knew exactly why or what happened. Jeremy was obviously the only guy that was playing in that game. Well, Jalen too, and just tell them, let's settle in, man. Just settle in. You know, we're doing things we haven't done before. We're turning the ball over like crazy. First play, you know, we talk about rebounding all week. The shot goes up. We just stand and watch, and they get 2 points. And, you know, just try to reinforce. It's all self-inflicted. You know, it's one thing if they hit shots, which they did, but the first couple possessions there I thought was just us not coming out the way that we needed to. So let's just regroup and come back. And I thought, Flip's 3, just to get us going there. You just needed to see one go through. Was a big play just to start the momentum.
Let's go on Coach's right by the curtain, and then we will go to a call from Zoom.
Connor O'Neill from Devils Illustrated. John, to keep you on the deja vu track, how much did Jeremy hitting clutch mid-range shots late against an elite defensive team in the Sweet 16 remind you of that Texas Tech game?
A lot. A lot. And he's done it. He's been there. You know, it's funny. He even said after the game some of his turnovers early were was like Texas Tech. But his playmaking, and even in the first half when we weren't converting, he was the one guy that was getting downhill and getting in the paint. And he's got such a quick burst. And I just thought his reads weren't the way it normally is. In the second half, he just settled in, and his poise and maturity was so important for us. But, yeah, it's definitely reminded me of those moments.
Closing questions now. Let's take one from Zoom.
Yes, we have a call from Dan. Dan, please unmute yourself and then identify yourself and affiliation and then state your question. Dan, are you there?
Dan's not there?
Maybe we come back to Dan.
Okay, now we'll stay on the right side and toward the back.
Ishmael Johnson, Dave Campbell's. Coach, how much did your game plan change when Jamal Shead went out, knowing how important he is to their offense and their defense? They went zone a couple times. The focal point of their offense kind of changed. How much did it change on your end?
You know, look, Shead is like the ultimate competitor and winner, and I saw it firsthand. We scrimmaged Houston last year, and just seeing what he does for their team and watching them on film, there's no replacement for him. But to be honest with you, your game plan, it can't change because you need to step your foot on the gas even more, because when a guy like that goes out, you know Cryer's going to do more, and Sharp's going to look to go. And, Roberts, I can go. I thought, Walker hit a big 3 for them to cut it to 3. So for us, it didn't change. It was we have to keep defending. We had to keep trying to figure out ways to generate shots. And, that thing went down to the wire. So you can't let up at all.
We will sneak in one last question for Coach here on the aisle.
Coach, congratulations. Andre Johnson, making headline news, Dallas. Before Shed went out, your team did respond after falling behind 8-0. This is a 2-part question. What was so special about the way they rallied after falling behind early, and how did Coach K prepare you for moments like this?
Coach K has prepared me for moments like this. One, because we've been in so many games like this together. Starting when I was a player for 4 years, but then being on staff with him for 10 or 11 years. And, look, I think the closest comparison, I don't know if it was 10 or 11. I think it was 11. But I compared to the Texas Tech game, and I don't know how early he called a timeout in that game, but it was early. And, you have to show great poise in these moments. Your team wants it really badly, but I'm beyond fortunate to have learned from them as a player and as a coach. Just the amount of situations you're in together is, I could go on and on. Being down in a game, being up, just learning how to win. That's the biggest thing I've learned from him. And then for our team, that was just a different game. So to start out that way and to just claw our way back, I think any questions about their mental toughness or any questions about their heart, I think they answered that tonight. Obviously we have to respond quickly and get ready for a quick turnaround on Sunday. But I'm just really proud of them. And I know it's the last question. I just want to make sure two guys I thought were special tonight. Ryan, those guys talked about Ryan and the minutes that he had, but his defense, his physicality to match what they do, I thought was a big difference in the game. And then Tyrese didn't have like the number, he has 9 points, 4 assists, which was key. He just was so steady for us. But his defense was off the charts. Off the charts. And on the ball guarding, but also off the ball. And those two plays, he's guarding Cryer, gets a steal late, and then he's guarding Sharp at the end when we're down 3, or they're down 3. So I'm just proud of those two guys with what they did. All right? Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Coach.
Thank you.
We will see you tomorrow afternoon.